Okay, come on, Sarah.
All right, here we go. And I'm going to do my best to monitor the chat too. So I'm have
Right.
multiple screens up, guys. All right, so I just wanted to welcome you guys today. We're so excited to have you here. We are thrilled to be diving into your businesses and answering your burning questions and providing solutions today. We see this more as a conversation and less as a workshop because we want it to be individualized so that when you walk away, you're like, okay, that's one thing that I can do to help my business. That's one problem I had that I now know how to solve. So rules for an engagement are when you are ready, you can pop. Oh, sorry, Woolen. I'll let you do that part.
No, no, you go ahead. Why not? Go ahead.
When you're ready to ask your question, just type ready in the chat because we're going to go first come, first serve. So who's ever ready first, that's who we're going to take. We're going to do laser consulting, ask you questions, walk you through things, stuff like that. And then the next person that says they're ready. If you don't want to ask your question publicly, then just click a private message to myself or Woolen, and then we can answer it and we won't use any names. We're just gonna, give you the answer that we can best give given the information you provided us privately in the chat. So, okay, it's like the Hunger Games for business help. Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. Yes, okay. Anything else that I'm missing, Woolen?
No, you're done. Just the main thing we want to do in this, as Sarah said, is a conversation, and a conversation that we are truly, none of us are experts. I'm just going to level set, meaning we are going to create a mastermind in this room that will truly benefit all of us. And it's a flat surface right now. What
Right.
we'll ask is, at the end of the meeting, we want us to, let us know how we did. Let us know, give us your feedback. If you have a testimonial about your experience, just let us know, give us feedback. This has been a labor of love there for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
We had planned a physical meeting roughly 6 months ago, and then COVID-19 came up and we pivoted to come and do this conversation with you. So let's dive in.
We do ask that if you're not talking to mute yourself so that there's not the background stuff. But this way you guys are going to be able to get side door consulting by learning from other people's questions and things like that too. So just because you're not up doesn't mean it's not going to be valuable, because maybe that's something that you also have a question on, but that's not your question for today. So you're getting double bang for your buck. Maybe it's something you're going to experience 3 months from now down the road or something like that. So we just ask that everybody mute and then participate, because the more you engage, the more you're going to get out of it. So we're going to be monitoring the chat and things like that. So, all righty, go for it, Woolen.
So we've heard the conversation, or the phrase business continuance, and what does that conjure up? For me, it's every single thing that I'm doing in order for my business to continue. As simple as that, right? It's all the different steps you put in your business model that will say, I will ensure my customers, I will reach out to these customers, I will engage at these channels. My value proposition is this, and I'll have these activities, these partners that will back me up to do that handshake between my business and the client. Now, things happen in the course of business. And as you see now, those threats occur. And if you don't think on your business continues during a time of disaster or during a time of uncertainty, rather,
Woolen,
you will be left in the dust.
Can I pause?
Say that. Go ahead.
You're breaking up. Can you switch microphones for me?
Really?
Is he breaking up for everybody else too? Okay. Yeah. Can you switch mics for me?
Let me switch up here.
While you're switching, do you want me to give an example?
Sure, go ahead.
So when Woolen and I were working together, he asked me, he was like, well, what are you going to do if the people who rent upstairs, the office upstairs, what if they smoke? and it's their office, so they don't care. They're smoking. They leave a cigarette, they don't put it out, or candles or whatnot, and you go in to go to work the next day and the whole dang building has burned down. What are you going to do? I had never thought about that. And I was like, oh crap, what would I do? And so that's part of the threats that can happen. And that's just an example of how you have to think 10 times ahead, right? And we never thought 10 times ahead for COVID. And that's what we're doing now. But if we start setting up our business of thinking of if this happened, if these threats happen, what will we do to continue our business? So now is the time to be having these conversations.
Okay. Am I better now,
Yep.
team?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you. So business continuance, right? You just saw business continuance in action, right? There were two microphones, one's on the camera that I'm using, and we say, hey, I'm not servicing you. Let me see, I have a two-prong approach. So I'm going to go back to the other microphone and see if that works. So what it does is business continuance, when you put it in your plan, when you put it in your business, you are saying to yourself, I'm going to eliminate or minimize my panic and uncertainty of delivering my value to my clients. You see these 5 threats that we have under here. The campaign smear. Sarah and I were talking in 2020, with social media being so prevalent and people using it and trusting it, you have the threat of your competition going on and putting things on your testimonials, referrals, etc. And there's even ways that you can do it on your Google Analytics and your ads, that you can make them spend more money per click, so that you're wasting more money in delivering your ads to your clients. So your campaign smears, the pandemic, ones that we're in right now, the system utility failure. If you have, let me say this before we move further. Whenever we have coaches, we have service providers, financiers on here, each of our various industries have a different type of business continuance plan. So we cannot come on this in this conversation and state, in order for you to do this, a financier will not have an identical or similar plan as a coach would have, or as a masseuse would have, because they're service-oriented businesses. Some businesses are dependent upon inventory. Some are dependent upon intellectual property. So let's think about the business that is dependent upon inventory, that has a single point of failure. When you're thinking about business continuance in this case, you're thinking about your supply chain. If I'm getting supplied from California and you're creating that business, think about, that's a single point of failure, and it's the most important thing that drives your business. This, I'm getting a mouse. I'm getting a mouse from Texas, but there are also other mice that I can purchase from New York, and I'm here in North Carolina. It's always good to think, if your business is reliant upon supply of a single or a couple products that are so important to your business, try to diversify your chain, so that when something goes down in Texas, New York is still up. I have a quick story about natural disaster. 9/11. We had a business, so EMC, I was working at EMC, and we built systems and storage systems. Prior to what we were touting as, the system will not go when you write data at point A, you can purchase our other system that will simultaneously write your data to point B. It was very expensive. The banking industry relied heavily upon it. 9/11 struck, and all of our major customers, Fortune 100 companies, were sitting right there on Wall Street. When those things occur, when the planes hit, not a single one of those businesses that had that system went down. The financial system continued because they had data in California and one in Washington. So they could, as soon as it went down, it picked up directly from Washington and California. Somebody's knocking from California, and business continued. These different threats that we're seeing, your sabotage, computers, people coming in with your network. What are those things that you can do in order for you to ensure that your business continues? Sarah, do you have anything to put
Yes.
in here?
Yeah, I want to give an example. So, and this
Okay.
happened right now in COVID with Zoom, right? Where people were popping in and sabotaging Zoom meetings, like whether it was professional business meetings, whether it was schools, like people were hacking into Zoom and doing inappropriate things in these forums. And so Zoom said, okay, well, what are we going to do to prevent this? They paused, their expansion and said, we need to focus on security. So they upped their security game. They made it so that everything is password protected so that that doesn't continue to happen. If they would have thought of that ahead of time, that would have been great, even better, that kids weren't exposed to inappropriate things and parents weren't freaking out, because then it created this culture of, is it unsafe for my kid to be doing school virtually because somebody can hack in and do inappropriate things when my kid's in a school meeting with a Zoom call with his class? In my first business as a therapist, our practice, it created people not wanting to do telehealth because now they're afraid that their therapy sessions are no longer confidential and people can be hacking in and listening to it and making it public. So it's thinking about those threats and how can I make it so that it's so safe and secure? How can I think 10 steps ahead? And then like Zoom did, if it does happen, because a lot of times we're doing the best we can and we can't think of everything all the time, right? So when it does happen, having that immediate action to fix it and resolve it.
Any questions? Any questions on this slide? Because the next one is where we're going to put a stake in the ground and spend most of our time.
I want to also address an example on the campaign smear, because so when people ask me, well, what do I do about that? I say, in business, part of your business continuance, right, and your brand reputation is that always from day one, conduct yourself in such a way that if somebody says something bad about you, nobody's going to believe it anyways. And so if you're conducting yourself in such a manner that's in alignment with integrity and that your actions, your intentions, and your words are all in alignment, then even if somebody does try to do a smear campaign, nobody's going to believe it anyways, because they're going to be like, that's never been my interaction with that person. That's not that, I've never experienced that with that person, And so it's a lot harder to create a smear campaign if you're conducting yourself and your business from a place of integrity from the beginning, because then your brand reputation will speak for itself. And you won't have to spend, lots of time and money and hire a PR rep or marketing to try to fix that. You have your people, your marketing team of all your referral sources and people that you have business relationships and connections with, that you don't even have to worry about it because they become your PR and they're like, wow, that's never been my experience with them. Make sense? Thumbs up. Good. Okay. Awesome.
But Sarah, here's you stated that, and I think if we even go a bit slightly lower to the core of your business. Every time you start a business, every single one of you, before you started your business, you thought about what were my core values. The core values of your business is so important, and that leads to the next piece of what's my mission? What am I going to do? After what I'm going to do, you understand your vision, which is here's what I foresee. After I engage with my clients will do X, Y, or Z. I'm going to take on Eddie here. Eddie says, when my customers come into my shop, after I give them the gift of touch, they will feel like they can go and take on the world, right? Then your purpose, your why. After you've done all of those things and you're operating within those, I call them the MVP statements. When a campaign smear comes and you're aligned and your core values are intact, you really can't pay attention to brokenness.
Yeah.
Right? Because brokenness love to break. And I say brokenness love to break is if I'm broken and I'm in this business ecosystem with Robert or Tricia, and she's my competitor, and I'm thinking of putting her down instead of working on my business, on my uniqueness, because all things being equal, people will purchase from who they like, period. All things being equal. So a piece of advice to all of us on here is as you're engaging, it's good to look to the left and to the right to see what's going on, but you know exactly why your core values, your mission, vision, and purpose. If you didn't do those things, then you're easily swayed to do whatever is done in the marketplace, right? Make sense?
Yes.
So here's where we're about to spend our time. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put guardrails up. And these guardrails are things that you can do within your business to start thinking on business continuance in terms of how can I continue doing this thing without I'm not going to say without a blip, but with a blip on screen, right? So the very first thing you think about is your environment. What happens within my environment? Where am I? Where do I operate from? Who do I operate with? The demographics, right? Within my environment. When I think about that, my business environment, then I think on the assumptions. And as Sarah said, my assumptions of what if I pass away today? Will my business continue? Do I want my business to continue? So this is where you're thinking about your exit strategy, right? So you're thinking, if I pass, if the business burns down, if I share with a business partner who has 50% intellectual property and he wants to get out, how am I going to say if I like this business, if I love this business? So all the different assumptions, I want you to start thinking on your environment and your assumptions that are within your business. Then you move into the risk. What are the risks that are prevalent that my zone of tolerance, what can I take? What's so there's something that we talk about called key performance indicators, and yeah, KPIs, and your KPIs are the things that are important to me within my business, that my business needs to have eyes on to ensure my business continues without any glitches. So you're looking at the risk as it lines up with your KPIs and say, if my KPI is having 20 people, number of services I give, and I'm seeing my service drop from 20 down to 10, I'm saying to myself, if this thing drops to 0, the business is in a disaster. It's done. So I'm looking at my KPI and saying, 10. Oh my goodness. What is my plan to pick 10 back up to 20? That's something that you have to start thinking about, looking at your KPIs. Think on the important things in your business. I look at you, Sarah, realty. So realty is houses. I'm selling houses. If I'm selling houses and in this COVID-19, I'm thinking about, gosh, nobody's coming out or nobody's buying. What do I start to think about? Where can I put my face for my clients to see me, right? I give a quick example before we go to the planning and readiness. This morning I was thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? In this case, I'm not going out to get clients. And a light bulb just came out, poof, it was yellow too. Um, I thought about my past clients. All of your past clients know you. Every one of your past clients who got top-notch service from you, they know you. So all you have to do is go back and rekindle that fire. So I know it's kind of hard for a house, right? It's kind of hard for certain.
With Sarah
Go ahead.
Powell, it makes me think too, she can be going out and doing virtual, like live house tours and say, here, this today I'm in this neighborhood, tomorrow I'm in this neighborhood. She's the only one going into, and it doesn't have to be an occupied house. It can be only houses, either model homes or, you know, ones that have not been lived in, or the people have already moved and it's been sitting there, like, and be like, here, check out this home, so that she's still on top of mind. She's still showing people houses without the people having to be in there themselves, right? Or she can be doing, because of her property management side, she can be doing tips and tricks of like energy efficiency. If your water smells, you know, that this could be going on in the house, like all the different things that property managers do and what they have to be aware of and look out for. She can be educating people on that right now. Correct. Or like you said, what is the tolerance level? So this makes me think of Tori and Eddie, because they physically can't go in right now and put their hands on people. And so what is it that they can do? What is their tolerance level of their cutoff line of, if we are not back in the office by this date, then I need to have this plan to do X, Y, and Z to generate income. So it's planning forward rather than like an ostrich and sticking your head in the sand and being like, it'll go away. Like if I just cover my ears, like, and rock back and forth, everything will be okay eventually. We have to get our head out of the sand. We can be hopeful. We can be positive. We are all of those things. And we can ask ourselves, what can I tolerate and what do I need to plan for so that I don't get to that point?
So thinking outside the box is one of those things that you can do in your assumption phase. So after you understand your risk and your zone of tolerance, we're going down to create a plan. You're sitting going, if X happens, Y, I will do Y. And then you can do a nested if-then statement, right? If this happens, then this. If this doesn't happen, then if another piece happens. So you can go so deep in this and get lost. However, remember we said your environment and your assumptions and your KPIs, the key things that run your business, pay attention to only those things and not start to go down a rabbit hole for let's see, if a squirrel comes into the house and eats my internet line, right? That's it's okay, but don't go down so granular. Think on only your KPIs that are important to your business. When you do, go ahead.
For Tori and Eddie, things like, because these are things I'm having to think about for my private practice, is I'm having to plan ahead and have the readiness of purchasing the paper things that fit across, like you guys would put them across your table. That's how you keep cleanliness. I'm having to think of that to put it on the couches or the chairs in my office so that I can show people it still is safe to come in here. Even once this is lifted, people are still going to be anxious, right? You guys thinking ahead of like I got toilet paper, not for our house, but for the office, so that when we can, there's toilet paper there. So you guys thinking ahead in that readiness of when I can have people in, I'm ready with the extra gloves, with extra masks, so that I can have, if my clients come in and want masks, I have that for them to give them and they can take it with them. If my clients want to wear gloves, I have that. So you're ordering that stuff now so that you're ready to open when you can. And so that you're not waiting and then you can't find it anywhere because it's all run out and there's no more supplies.
Thank you, Sarah. So your plan really puts into account all those other pieces you had. For some of your businesses, you're thinking you rely on another person or you rely on a couple people who make your business work. Readiness in this scenario, as Sarah said, also readiness is also your ability to practice in case X happens. So the firemen, they are always engaged. No fire, but they're exercising, they're cleaning, they're servicing the trucks, they're washing the trucks down, they are doing drills, they're sliding down the pole, they're doing all of this is what readiness is about, so that when it occurs, you are automatically, it's second nature, muscle memory. You're able to just go in and do it. Now, let's open up the microphone, right? Let's unmute your phones, your mics, and let's discuss. It could be your COVID-19 story. It could be your business story, but what are you thinking in terms of now and moving forward for business continuance?
Okay, so remember to type ready in the chat. We already have one ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that one. The question was, do you recommend having template emails for client communication when it comes to complaints or refund requests?
Guess what I'm about to do with you right now? You can see my screen, right? That question, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is what systems and processes is about. You instead of now, if you see anything on here that's inappropriate, is on you. You see all of these. You see. Do you see all of these icons up on my screen? Up here.
Yes, we see it.
Now these icons, you can come in Visual Basic. There's a trying to find a particular icon here. I click that. It popped up on my other screen. Let me bring it back here. I click that, and that automatically is populated with good morning. Here's my updated calendar, and I look forward to having a get acquainted call soon, blah, blah, blah. Now you're talking about I'm doing this for business systems, for testimonials and people going on. I also have a template on here that I've put in. Thank you so much for reaching out to Joseph Solomon. Thank you for your 5-star. Thank you for your 3-star. Thank you for your 1-star. Those things are already set, so I can just copy and dump it in there. What this does for me, your templates, what they do for me, like this one is, let me close this here. I don't know why it's opening in the other screen. For introducing my business to someone. There we go, it's good. I click on that and I don't have to copy and paste. Do you know how long before I put this in my system, in my business? It took me, if I had to, you can do this with MailChimp, right? You can do this with your email software. But if you have unique things that you have for your business systems, these are things that you can automatically put up and just click on, and it saves you time. So excellent question.
I would like to add to that too, that especially because the question was about when it comes to complaints or refund requests.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, templates are great. When you have your template though, have where it says validate and put a block in so that you are validating that person's specific complaint, because people need to feel validated first. So you're going to have the template, but you're going to add so that you're validating whatever specific thing. And it can be where you copy from their email so that you're using their language so that they feel fully seen and heard and understood by you. People cannot move forward if they don't feel validated. They're like, they don't get me, and they'll continue to repeat their story and repeat their complaint over and over again. So in your template, make sure to put a block that you fill in that says validate the person's emotions. Validate is not agree. Just because you are reflecting back what somebody says and saying, I hear that you're dissatisfied, or I hear that you feel whatever it is that they wrote because of whatever it is that they wrote. You're saying, I hear you. You're not saying I agree with you. So make sure you have a part in there about validate. And then your template can be what you would do and how you would handle that. And if you need to make tweaks because of somebody's specific situation, put in there what your repair, your amends is going to be, right? Because you want to, maybe your amends is, I will reduce the rate. Maybe your amends is you get 1 free massage, whatever it is, but you need, like, put your other block as your reminder of fill in what your amends and your repair is going to be for that business relationship. So it's important to have the templates like Wolwin is saying, totally. And it's important to personalize them in the case of complaints and refunds requests.
So there's a private chat to me. I'll just read what this says. For some, business continuity is not about being able to do 100% of what you were previously able to do, but to preserve your most critical aspects until you can get back to normal. Excellent, excellent. It's and just what we're talking about is your key performance indicators, the key things that your business before you create the business, there's something called the most viable product or the most viable service. So your most viable service that you have or product, you have to pinpoint what that is before you go and start running, because that will make you know this is the only thing my business is staked upon. So McDonald's, I'm thinking here, McDonald's trying to bring in healthy salads, etc. I don't go to McDonald's for healthy salads. I go down somewhere else for healthy salads, right? I go to McDonald's for a Big Mac. You come and create all these different SKUs. But let's something happen. Let something happen to McDonald's supply chain. You will see that salads, all the so-called healthy foods, all of those things will drop, and you will understand that only Big Macs will be served. Now, what we're seeing in Panera, you're seeing it now with when we went to Panera to buy sourdough bread. Oh no, we don't have that. We have a limited menu. So everywhere you've seen limited menus now, they're showing you what their most viable product is. Their business continues, but we're not going to bring all these other pieces in. So talking about your businesses, your most viable product, that particular thing, you have to make sure it's running 24/7. Things on the periphery, at this time, you don't do those things.
I have one more. Somebody submitted another questions. It's hard to wrangle emotions when people challenge your integrity. Tips to let that go. Okay, so it's my understanding that this person is talking about what we talked about the smear campaigns and things like that. I'm assuming that's what this is connected to. So when people are challenging you, it's just like Woolen said, that essentially he was saying hurt people hurt other people. When he was like broken then tries to break, right? When people are hurt, or we're in this phase of where people are feeling this sense of lack and scarcity and desperation and fear and grief, people are hurting right now. And so whether it's now or whether hurt people, like they do things that might be out of alignment with what you believe to be is integrity. And so tips for letting that go is understanding that, having compassion and understanding that person is in pain. They're hurting right now, which is why they're lashing out. And being able to see that they're doing it for them. They're not doing it to you. Because when we take it personal and we internalize it, it's because we think they're doing it to us. But it's not, they're not doing it to us. They're doing it for them, to fulfill a need in them, to fill a void, to protect themselves, because they're not aware that they're hurt inside, and they're not aware that they're acting out, like whatever. Like, but again, that's their stuff. You do not own their stuff. So keep in your lane and know they're not doing this to me. They're doing it for them. And that is their lane. That is their journey, right? And so that's a way that you can let that go. You know that you're in alignment with your integrity, and you know they're not doing it to you. They're doing it for them. And that's a way that you can let that go. And you don't have to carry things that don't belong to you. And you can have compassion for that other person of recognizing that they're in pain right now. And that's where they're at in the journey. Like, we can all have compassion for everybody in this phase where people are faced with things that they never thought they would ever experience, like the depths of loneliness. Anxiety and depression is up 33%. A doctor just committed suicide yesterday because of this. It is overwhelming. And so at the end of the day, we can have compassion for people, and that's how we let it go. Okay? Well, when you want to add anything to that?
No, you did an excellent job with that. It's so strange. I'm sitting here when I'm listening to myself, and I'm listening to Sarah, and you see two things happening. You see Sarah is on a track of mindset and integrity and passion, and I'm on the mindset of template. I love this system, the process, and that's So and this is something that Sarah and I pretty much do similar things, right? In a sense, there's something that we cross path on certain services. think on your so-called competitors. You can still collaborate with your competitors. Is that my, and some people are going to go, "Ooh, my competitor." Think on things that a subset that is a small subset where you overlap. And then you are unique even more. You can come and bring those services together. And that's another piece of business continuance.
Yeah.
Because where someone understands systems, but they don't understand mindset and doing the money matters, etc. Those two things matter when you put it together as a service. So think on for business continuance, yes, in time of uncertainty, think about business continuance where you are collaborating, because this Jenny goes connection, collaboration is less than competition. There you go. Ooh, well, it's greater than competition. I was reading the first one, Jenny, but great, right? She says her nails are long.
Well, it makes
But
me think
here's
of me and Cece, because I'm like, Cece and I are both doing mindset, but I don't have the skill set Cece has of hypnotherapy. And so
no.
if I were to be in a fear state or lack and scarcity of, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to collaborate with Cece because what if I lose all my clients, then I'm not going to be able to assist my clients in that bigger way, right? Because there are certain things, those subconscious blocks that mindset doesn't get to, hypnotherapy does. And so if I partner and collaborate with Cece, then we are working together to elevate our clients instead of trying to like hoard, right?
So any questions? I know we're talking. Any questions? Any comments from Bob? I see you coming to the microphone.
Bob,
You're
can
on
you
mute.
yourself?
Hit the on.
Hey, Woolen, can you make the screen share go away, please, so that they can see our faces? The PowerPoint.
Good.
Thank you. All right, Bob, what's your question?
I think I'd like to have you talk about, you know, the theme I hear from Woolen is managing risk during this transition that you're going through. Can you talk a little bit more about you talked about KPIs. There were other things that we can look at to help us manage the risk or understand where we are to help us when we make decision making. You know, risk management is always a factor, and it's even more a factor now as we're making decisions and investments in our business. Can you talk a bit more about, you know, how we can assess risk and manage risk as we look at what we can and cannot do?
Definitely. Good, excellent question, Robert. Bob.
Please.
So I'm a big, I advise all of my clients, every single client, about the business model. I use the business model canvas, period. And some people use it only to create the business model. I use it to check for waste. I use it to understand and make my business lean. And for you who may not, is everybody knowledgeable about the business model canvas? Thumbs up if
I'm like everybody in launches.
okay. But so good. So that's, but if anybody isn't, I can share that with you. As you're creating your business, you will see that your customers, when you develop your customer segment, your relationships, and the channels that you will go for someone who doesn't understand what risk is, Bob will go down granular, will say, looking at your customers, look at each one of those boxes and say, what could go wrong? What's my zone of tolerance in this particular box? What can I live with and what can't I live with, right? Looking at your partnerships, when you look at your partners and you see that the partners that you're getting in with. If you get partners who aren't trustworthy, it means that your value proposition, your handshake to your clients wouldn't happen. So that risk, you want to ensure that the partners or the individuals you have working for you, let's look at your activities and your resources, internal resources. If you have those people who are coupled and understand what your value proposition is, you can do that business handshake. If all of those moving parts, the moving parts in your business that assist you in providing service or a product, those things that are associated with your most viable products, because we're going down to the lowest level, the lowest common denominator. So your most viable product, all those things have to be coupled. And if there are anything if a single point of failure exists, go ahead and create a double point, remove the bottleneck, so that risk, that piece does not stop your most viable product from going out to providing service. Sarah, any?
Yeah, so what it made me think of is when you talked about keeping your business lean, at the very least, what everybody on the call can be doing is going through and checking their systems and say, where am I wasting money? Where is it not lean? Where am I having repeat or overlap? So I did this recently where I was like, okay, I'm paying for ActiveCampaign, I'm paying for Zoom, I'm paying for ClickFunnels. Like I went through all of the systems, all the different programs that I'm paying for, right, to run my business. Well, then I found one program that would do all of those things. And so I could pay for that one program that costs less than my ClickFunnels each month. And I can get rid of ActiveCampaign, which is going to save me money. I can get rid of ClickFunnels. And so I am then making my business more lean. So I'm saving myself money so that I can last longer if this continues, right? So like, Tori, Eddie, things, or even Christine, where she, like, you guys are dependent on people. We're dependent on people in these business. Even Tanya, right? Like she can't go out and be taking pictures right now. People can't be coming doing cake smashes in her house. And so what can she do right now to sustain her business? She can look at where things are ineffective, where things are overlapping, and she can make her business more lean so that it has more months to survive.
And it all goes down to a bottom line, right? It goes down to the bottom line in these times and I hate to say small business. You guys are business owners. Every big business was a small business, started as a small business. So putting that deviation, I'm a small business owner. I put that, you're a business owner. You're important to the economy. One, two. What came to mind when you were speaking just now? Core competence. The thing that you can do with your eyes closed, that gift that you have, that talent that your business runs on. You can make more money per hour doing the core competence than doing administrative pictures, taking pictures, doing your accounting, etc. That is if the business is booming. Stick to your core competence when you're running your business. Don't get a camera. You can if you're good with it. Don't get a camera or give your camera to your daughter to take your branding pictures because you want to keep it in the business. You want to save money. Don't do that. Don't. What are certain things that certain people do? Or go in the back to not an accountant, but somebody who's good with numbers, and you go in and say, you know what, do my numbers for me. Give those activities that are key to your business to a professional, because when you do give it to the professional, the time that you're spending doing those things, you make more money doing your core competence, and you'll be able to pay the professional as you're spending more time on your core competence rather than spreading yourself thin to do your core competence. Story, I think I'm just looking at you. I don't know why you're doing your acupuncture and then you're looking and saying, yeah, the person goes, like, I'm sorry. you have to stick to that piece that you do and let other people support you. And this is what Bob was saying, the risk. I know there's a risk, and some of us have the control factor. I want to make sure I'm on top of everything. Let that thing go. If you're thinking of the business growing, you have to let go and give it to particular key people who are known, who are experts in order, because they will be able to grow your business even faster.
Alrighty, so in the comments, it's saying, Tanya's saying, yes, automation is key. Yes, the king of automation is Michael Whitman. He is a freaking ninja over there with his systems, y'all. Yes, genius work over there. And then, okay, so Tori says she's ready. Hit me with your question, Tori. Or hit us with your question.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
So, well, I wanted to say, when you're spot on about having like key partners, that's kind of a side note. I know right now I have an accountant and a banker who like totally are on it because I have a relationship with them already. So they're super helpful, and they're like, you know, I can text speed dial them. So
Excellent.
you do need to outsource and make sure you're outsourcing to somebody that you really like and can trust and can access. But what I would really like support around is brainstorming ways to kind of pivot from brick and mortar, because obviously I do acupuncture. I have to be in with them in person and have an office and overhead and all of that to maintain, because I hope that I will go back to work at some point. But what, in the meantime, like I've offered telehealth to my list and I've only had a couple takers, so I'm not sure how to make the value proposition one that people are like, oh, I totally want that. Like, how can she do what she does in the office and do that online? Because I have not been able to bridge that selling point to people. And I know maybe if I advertise to like new clients, I could figure that out. But like to my existing list, I have not been able to bridge that gap because the magic happens in the room. Or at least it always has. That's in my mind.
Oh, I gotta, because she's my best friend, so I have to say this. The magic did not happen in the room, my love. The magic is you.
Well, either way.
So let me just like blow that bullshit up real quick, okay? Because now I'm all fired up that you said that, because it's so not true. The magic is not in the room. The magic is you and the services you provide and the person that you are and how they connect with you. And they are going to continue to connect with you in that way through telehealth. So I can hear the resistance to telehealth in your voice when you're presenting it to us. So I'm sure that when they're reading the email or they're hearing your voice over the phone, that they feel that resistance too. And they're like, Tori doesn't really want to be doing telehealth, but she's like throwing me a bone in case I want it. So I'm not really motivated to say yes to it because you don't want to do it anyways.
Yeah, and I don't.
Can I interject on that? Because I was just messaging Tori telling her that I'm like really struggling with that too. And then in meeting with you, Sarah, and you're like, hey, yeah, just do these things. But yeah, I mean, we're struggling with stuff too. And like for me, I've had to really learn how to relax myself, maybe to the point where it's too much now. And I really am like, when I go back to work, I don't hardly want to work. I just want to go do all the things that I want to be able to do that I can't do now. And I'm sure we're probably all kind of feeling that. But,
and we can all say do this and do this, but it's like when Woolwin and I meet, he can tell me all the systems in the world, y'all, but if I don't want to implement that system, I'm going to create resistance and I'm not going to do it. And so if you don't want to do telehealth, then one, why? What's behind that we can unearth and either release and get rid of? Because there's limiting beliefs around that. Either one limiting belief is that the magic's in the room rather than the magic is you. And then what can we do instead? If after you clear out those limiting beliefs, if you're like, no, telehealth is not the service I want to provide, that's not how I want to run my business, then how do you want to run your business? And then if you want to set it up to be like, I only want to be doing in person, then buy yourself time through funding or whatever we need. Like there's other ways, right? But I would challenge you to clear out the blocks first, because you could be equally as impactful doing tele sessions of acupressure points that you're showing them for relief. Like your whole why is to provide people with relief. Your why is to help women be able to have babies. Like you're a fertility expert. You can still be doing those things through nutrition, through supplements that you're recommending to them, through acupressure points. All of that can still be happening. You can still be fulfilling your why over the computer like this.
So let me jump in here. A completely different view, and this is why we are doing this. How long did it take you to build your business? Took you quite a while. Took you quite a while to build it. We're 1 month, 1 month, 1 or 2 months in this. Just 1 or 2 months in this. Could go, I don't know how long. However, you're just 1 or 2 months into it, and you are attempting to build a new business model. A new business model takes about 6 months for you to truly build it, understand it, and then put it in. You're doing this on the fly. So give yourself room to breathe. Give yourself room to calm down. Give yourself room to make mistakes, right? And give yourself time. Because trust me, you opened a business, you're not a quitter. We're so creative as human beings that you will find a way. One. Alongside what Sarah said. The second one is, we always overlook this aspect of our business that is worth more than gold. You have clients already. Survey your old clients, survey your clients, and ask them, tell me, how can I service you during this time? As simple as that. How would you like for me to service you during this time? And all of a sudden, when I was creating my business, I asked, and what I tell my clients to do, go and ask the people who you talk to, who you engage with every time. When you engage, and tell me, what do you get from me? You'll be surprised the answers you get, because you are you are pouring in, they're receiving. The way someone receives something is completely different the way you pour it. And if I could give an example, I'll just go down to someone's pouring. I'm thinking the Bible here. Jesus pouring water into wine. When did that water change to wine? Was it at the lips? Was it when they were pouring it in the jar? Was it? You don't know when. You don't know when your water will turn into wine, but go and speak and ask these people, tell me, how would you want me to service you? Eddie, ask them, hey, we've been doing this for a while, and I really would love to continue servicing you during this time. What can I do to make this happen for you? And they are creative. You know what? Why don't you do X, Y, or Z? And when they do that, they'll know that it's a service you're giving, and you don't have to come and tell them, hey, I have a new service. Will you pay for that? No, you ask them and they will tell you. So time, give yourself time. You're just 2 months in this, 2 months. It took you 6 months to build it. And even up to a year, it takes 3 years. It's as if everybody started from zero. So put it into perspective. You're not, one, you will not die. You will live and not die, right? 2, you are, if push comes to shove, I'm pretty sure you can knock on somebody's door and say, hey, I need some eggs, I need some sugar, give me some toilet paper, right? That's the humans are inherently good. I believe that. Give yourself time. Know that you can't do this. I see a lot of people fidgety and getting, the business. Yeah, that's true. The business is. But just calm down, breathe. The more you panic, the more the mind becomes so uncreative.
Yep.
Because it's flight of fear now. I gotta leave it. But when you calm down, Eddie, you're saying to yourself, I am so relaxed. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing, trust me. And in that relaxation state, start thinking on ways for me to make this business work. How can I make this business work? There's something missing. It's always right under our noses.
Well, and let me, Mike has something he also wants to add to help Tori as well. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, hey, Tori, I've been going to see my chiropractor for about 2 years, and she's wonderful. When I go in there, she makes me feel better with the little tools she has and just finding where my back is aching. But to echo what Sarah was saying is it's the connection I have with her, because she helps me with diet, with exercising and stretching, all the things I can do at home to manage me till I get to see her. And we have a connection with her. My wife and I do. We're going to follow her anywhere. I'm sure you have a lot of patients. They'll do the same for you. So a lot of times right now, it's just we're managing to get through. And yes, can we all go see everybody we need to right now? Probably not. But the connection they have with you is the knowledge you can give them to manage those times till they can get to see us. So I hear what you're saying, and I know you want to, get with them and meet with them, but don't underestimate the connection that we have with our chiropractors and our whoever for the knowledge we get from them, even when we can't see them.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent, Mike. Excellent, Mike. Excellent.
All right, so let's see. Tanya is next. She's ready. We're ready for you, Tanya.
All right. So as a photographer, springtime is one of our busiest seasons. And of course, what's happened is you can't go out in public. And also newborn sessions. Moms can't be expected to wait. This newborn phase is a few weeks. So what I've done with my business is I have gotten moms, everyone has a camera that they don't know how to use. Almost everybody has a camera that they went ahead and they splurged on. And I've taught moms how to use their cameras to get these precious little moments that I can't come in and take. And so not only am I helping these moms get these photos of their little ones holding wedding bands and stuff like that, but I'm teaching moms a valuable skill on how to take their own photos. And it's building their confidence, particularly postpartum, in a situation like this where they're already kind of anxiety is through the roof. So I have really had to figure out, and with my skill set, do I want to teach someone to become the next photographer? No, there's that competition, but it's also making sure that my clients are happy and they get the pictures they want and know that we can come back and take pictures later on. So just really adjusting kind of what Woolen was saying. How can you service people now? What can you do to help? And that was one of the things that I figured I was able to do. But some of the stuff I've had to say, no, I can't have you in my house. I can't be bringing people in my house to eat. Like, it's just not healthy, not safe. Yeah. But there are options, but thinking outside of the box can be really hard sometimes.
Yeah, I know a photographer who she did photographs through Zoom, like absolutely amazing. She had the client in a different state, set up, the laptop, and she positioned it and told her where to, like, it was amazing. Wow. And the pictures were sensational. So, yeah.
And Tanya, you said that you're giving your I can dump my brain into Sarah. Mm-hmm. And Sarah Powell, not Sarah Madras. I can dump my brain into you. I can dump my brain into Sarah Powell, and she can know every single thing I know. But Sarah doesn't have my personality. Likewise, I don't have Sarah's personality. Right. So when you teach, you can come here and teach me everything you know of photography. Be an expert photographer. The strange thing is, I don't want to be a photographer. See, that's the part that we always miss. I'm giving them, but you still have to be wise. You still have to be with your intellectual property. I'm not saying go and share every single thing, because what differentiates you from that other person may be the way you hold it. But also what differentiates you is it's an art for you. It's an art form. In an art form, people shoot baskets. The end is the basket going in the rim. However, the way you put it in the rim is what people are saying, oh my goodness, I just love the way he lays up, or the way he shoots it from the three. It's you. It's all about you. People, and again, I will reiterate, It's all about if I like Mike Manning or if I like Michael Whitman and they're serving the same product, I'm going to look and say, you know what? Mike Manning doesn't dance. He already told me he doesn't like to dance. I like dancers. Mike Whitman looks like he can boogie down, get down. So I'm going to go with Mike, right? So it's all about who am I comfortable with? And I declare this on this thing. Every single one of your clients, every one of you, every single one of your clients, the same way you're antsy, they're saying, oh, I can't wait to go to Tori. Oh, let this thing finish. Yep. Sarah, I'm trying to buy a house, but you know what I can do? I'm going to wait for Sarah. I'm going to wait. Jenny, I need to take pictures because I want to do a new website. I'm saying, gosh, let this thing finish so I can call Jenny, oh Lord, for me to do some branding pictures. Your clients are waiting for you. So what are you doing during this time? Yes, you're trying to create something new, but guess what? Sharpen that skill, study, know how you can become better, because there's a downturn. There is going to be a demand coming thereafter. Are you able to handle that demand?
Yeah.
That's another thing you have to start thinking about now. Will I be able to handle the demand that comes when this thing opens up? And that's where some people will fail, because too many people will be coming and they don't have the system. It will be the Popeye chicken sandwich issue.
Yep.
Everybody fell in love with it,
yep.
and then supply dropped, and they had to stop selling.
Yeah.
So think on that the back end of this, okay?
One thing I've learned too through this COVID is of what I do not want to learn. So I do not want to learn how to be a dog groomer. I do not want to learn how to cut my children or my husband's hair. Like, I have very clearly identified what I do not want to learn. And I guarantee you I would now pay more for that, or not flinch at paying for that, because I know how much I don't want to learn it. And so asking yourself, what do I not want to learn any more of? You know what I mean? And maybe for Tori, it's I don't want to learn telehealth. You know what I mean? And so if you don't want to learn that, you say acceptance, and you say, okay, I'm going to value that in somebody else even more when this is all said and done. So let me check the comments. Sarah Bolton says, right now it's about maintaining those client relationships. Yes. So ask yourselves, like, what am I doing to maintain those client relationships? Am I doing client care calls? Am I sending text messages of check-ins? Like, just wanted to say, I'm thinking about you. I love Woolwin's suggestion of the survey. Let's see. Then we have Dwayne Patterson says, stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start being excited about what could go right. Jenny says, serve first and your audience will remember when this is over. Exactly. And Sarah Bolton is a great example of that. She is a salon owner, and she has clients emailing her and saying, I cannot wait to get back in the salon. Like this, when this is over, like, I appreciate you so much. And when this is over, I can't wait to get back in. Clients are, like Mike Manning was saying, like, clients have that connection with you, and there's that loyalty that's still there. And so when this passes, the curve is going to come up. And making sure, like Willowin said, to have things set up so that you can meet that demand. So
team.
Mike Whitman, we got you.
Yeah, he left. So I have a feeling that we've done this and we are here now. And I hate to have you reach here and I'm still talking. Then it's like, no, I can't take any more of this.
Right.
I always want to leave on top.
Line too. If you so I don't want you to feel like if you haven't gotten your question in that, oh my God, we're ending in 15 minutes, I'm going to lose my opportunity. We're going to stay on to meet everybody's need. And if you have a question and you're saying, this is where I'm struggling in my business and I'm ready to talk about it, then we're going to stay on the line for you. Okay.
Correct.
Well, once I share his screen real quick. If you have to leave at 11:30, we want to share this with you so you're all in the know if you have to jump off at 11:30. Go ahead, Wolwin.
So we had this discussion and we continue to have it, but we just wanted to just introduce who we are to you, and please, we've been to these places where they do whatever they do, and then they come at the end and say, buy it for, we're not doing that. We're just introducing ourselves. This Sarah hates being salesy. I hate being salesy also, right? But this is our first time coming and meeting you. This is the first time we're collaborating. So we're sitting and saying, hey, here's where we are in the marketplace. So Sarah, you can go ahead.
Okay, Mike Manning, I'll chat you back in 1 second. So essentially, we accelerate your business. We want to make your business better so that your life is easier. And the reason that this collaboration started is because when Wolwin and I met, that's what we were both needing. I was needing systems in my business because I was feeling trapped by trying to run my counseling center and launch the second coaching business. And I was just feeling trapped and overwhelmed, and I just wanted to break free. And Wolwin was struggling with the mindset and going, okay, how do I balance all these demands of life and kids and my dreams and responsibilities and everything that's going on with that? And so that was this perfect synergy of what we said to ourselves. Imagine what would happen for business owners if they had it both at the same time. Of instead of having to retell your story when you switch to a new coach and you're like, okay, I have my systems in place now, I'm going to work on my mindset. And you have to tell your story all over again, create a whole new relationship, and it just like lag times and brings things out. It's annoying. And because you can't have the systems if you don't have the mindset, and you can have the mindset, which I had, but I didn't have the systems. So I was still feeling overwhelmed and trapped. So we were like, let's combine our superpowers so that people can go further faster, right? Because we go further faster when we do it together, like point blank. So what we do is we do the mindset transformation. We're mind mining is what we call it, to figure out what are those core limiting beliefs that are creating the resistance. And then Wolwin comes in with systems mapping. And Jenny can speak to this because we sat down and did it with her. Like literally we take your spaghetti ball, like if you have the spaghetti ball with all these ideas, and we make it clear and we map out your plan of here's program development. Here's your programs, your 3 tiers of your programs, your value ladder. Here is the strategies to get those. Here are your key performance indicators, and then implementation strategies. Because you can have all the systems in the world, but if you don't implement, then it was a complete and utter waste of your time. Next slide, please. Thank you, sir. So because we believe it's a combination of superpowers, and because we are quirky and we like to have fun, we have titled them Ultron, Infinity, and Endgame. Avengers Unite!
Iron Man.
We even took quizzes, and I was like, oh, I'll be Captain America. Wolwin is Iron Man. So if anybody wants to be, you know, like Falcon and Hawkeye, y'all can join the team. So we start out in the Ultron phase, which is where we collect, evaluate, and benchmark things. So you have to collect the data in order to be able to evaluate it, right? And then we develop strategies and identify what your key performance indicators are. What are those key points that you need to reach? We're going to teach and train. And I have experienced this firsthand from Wolwin, which is why I can speak to it with such confidence. And then through the program management, we help you overcome that resistance, have a high level of accountability, and manage the multiple ongoing projects. When you transition into Endgame, that's when you evaluate and measure the progress. What is working? What is not working? What tweaks do we need to make in order for it to be more successful? We clear out the bottlenecks. Like that's the whole thing, is at this point, did that thing that we caused create a new bottleneck? What do we need to shift and change? We compare the current data with the original benchmark data from the Ultron phase. And then we help promote change and improvements, because when you take the mindset of and mastery of people plus the mastery of process, you get increased profits. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one call with us to dig into your business and get to know us, we'll have a free get acquainted call. And there's the link at the top.
Yep. So I tell you, I think we can, instead of coming here, I'm just going to take it back to this slide here.
I'm going to check.
Everybody,
I'm going to check the chat to see if we missed anybody.
Everybody everybody in our ecosystem. As I look on here, the Jenny, Brooke, Christine, Liz, I don't know some of you, however, we're all value driven. There's not a single person on this Zoom that is, I can put my neck on the board and say that's money driven, money first. I think it's value driven people. So you see what we attract, who you attract. Just look at your best friends and see who you're attracting, right? Then you can know. And I'm looking at everybody on here. I know Bob, know the Valley, he drives there with launch. Tori, Sarah, Jenny, Christine, Catherine, I don't know you, but trust me, if you're in this circle, I know that's who you, Boydie, Gina, Liz, Eddie, Sarah, Brooke, every single, Trisha, every single one of us are value driven. And it's so important to be value driven because it's a different approach to business. It's a different approach to life. It's operating out of abundance rather than operating out of lack. Right? Yeah. I did see someone, I think Boydie did put something about rebranding or immediate service. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I'm scrolling up to try to find where that is. Okay, rebranding or immediate service question mark. Bodie, can you give us more details on that, please? Well, when I'm going to stop your screen share so that we can see her or him, because I can't tell.
Okay, this is Ms. Simmons. Okay, here's my question regarding rebranding or service. Now we are at a point here where, okay, we run a nonprofit. So we have new things to give up. You know, our demands have gotten high. We need to service children in the rural areas. And then we need to, in order to do that, we have to go back to our website, which we were trying to redo. And then I'm here in the middle talking about, okay, we need to go back to this website. At the same time, we need to reach people out there. But then you want to reach them, and then you send a letter to them. First thing they do is they go to your website. But I need an expert, okay? I did technology also. I can design a website. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to design a website. At the same time, I'm trying to meet the needs of these people. So I know you talk about, you know, give it to the expert. Yeah, you want to give it to the expert, but then I am confused right now. I am just there right now. As we speak, people are on the field trying to distribute stuff. But you need that website to put it out there and say, this is what we are doing. This is how you can help us. So that's where I am at this point. It's a bit frustrating, but I'm not frustrated with the fact that I can do the work. The work is being done, but it's how you show this work. That's where I am right now.
So just listening to you, I'm hearing you're doing the work, but it's the branding and marketing of what you're doing that showing it to the public, which could garner even more support. Is that?
Yes. So that's where I'm caught up right there. Do I focus on rebranding or just go on, you know, do what we have to do and then think about it later? I don't know what to do at this point, but we're still doing the work though.
What's your most viable product in there, right? The most important thing that you have to do. I think it's a matter of facing things in, right? The most important thing is going out there and helping the people, right? If it's a nonprofit,
that's what we do.
To ensure that the service is running. It sounds like a one woman operation in the back office.
You almost got that right. Yeah.
Well,
but people on the field far away from me now, all the way in Buffalo, in Liberia. I mean, when I say rural, it's rural. Right now, as we speak, that's where they are. They are supplying food, conducting surveys so that we can send some educational materials. So we're doing what we can from our end. And in the meantime, I'm still doing, virtual teaching and all that kind of stuff. So I am like, I don't know how this thing is going to work, but it has to work.
It has to. Sarah, do you have an input in there?
So I agree with you that at this point it's about the service, not about the rebrand. If you absolutely want something, it can be a one page. It doesn't have to be this whole new website development. It can be a one page snippet, you know what I mean? Or it can just be maybe your website is the Facebook page. Like you don't have to get down the whole rabbit hole of building this elaborate website and rebranding things. If the goal is for people to know about you, so like what is the call to action that you want them to have? Do you want them to be donating to the nonprofit to be able to help support? Then you have that call to action on that one page, and your one page describes the services and the value that you're providing, who you guys are, and then what it is that you're going to be doing with their donation so that they know what's happening. It can be a one page. It doesn't even have to be, it can be a free website. It can be a Facebook page that's free, and that's where you direct people to. Don't spend too much time falling down that rabbit hole.
That makes sense.
Development rabbit hole falls forever. It's freaking Alice in Wonderland in real life, like no lie. The map pattern and everything. And
that
so
makes sense.
Then that you could knock that out in a weekend, and then you're focused on service.
Okay.
And
All right,
Sarah,
that makes sense.
Sarah, another thing that could, that one page could be just an infographic.
Right.
An infographic of numbers. 200 bags served, 5,000 people fed, put it in there and just do a graphical thing on Canva and shoot it out. I think that should help with that.
Thank you about the infographic, because I do subscribe to that, and hey, I can go back and use it now.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I use it mainly for my kids, but then I can push it to my business.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep. And if your kids know how to do it, put them to work. Get them to make the infographic.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Sarah, can you put the poll out now just in case? Let's just get feedback.
So we did a quick poll. If you can answer, let me read Jenny's real quick and then I'll put the poll up.
Sure.
So I want to give a shout out to Wolwin and Sarah when we did their branding photos. Afterwards, we sat down and they completely deconstructed my business model and offerings in a way that made absolute sense and created the space for me to develop new services and offerings. Use different systems to execute and feel confident outsourcing. It truly is a combination of superpowers. I walked away and was completely overwhelmed and excited to create a shift in their systems work. Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
So here's a quick poll that can you guys see that? Right there, it should be up there. Do you guys see the poll, or do I need to screen share?
No, it's good. I can see.
Thank you. This is so cool. It's like 9 out of 15 have answered, 10 out of 15. It's like marking it. It's so fun. And like, don't be shy of the last 5 people. It's all, we can't see who said what, so it's all anonymous. All right.
Is it just the one question?
It's just the one question. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All righty, you good, Wolwin? I'm going to scroll to the other questions to answer what other people have.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, Tori was saying landing page for you. Yep, landing page with lots of photos of what your nonprofit does with the money, include a call to act. Oh, yeah, you guys are awesome.
So so you see, Sarah, again, you're about to see the differences in the two of us here, right? So Sarah is I
You
am,
should get me.
I am system, stick and saying, we said from 10 to 11:30, and I'm not getting off. I'm just saying, we want to officially say thank you. Thank you so much for spending an hour and 30 minutes with us. And we're open now until,
Yeah, if you want to.
11:45,
Yeah.
till whenever you have your last questions. But we just wanted to put a stake in the ground to say a big thank you to you for coming, for spending time with us. We thank you for giving us feedback on
Yep. That's what they were. We got the back.
I muted her for feedback. So grateful for feedback. It helps us, and thank you again. I truly appreciate the mastermind option of typing in the chat, right, and putting in comments versus just us talking and every other person who's given an input. Want to also say, if you have any verbal feedback to give now, if you could, we would open up your
in the chat.
or they can speak if they want to, and then give the questions, and then we continue with the questions.
Okay, so we got Christine Wallers. Thank you, Sarah and Wolin. I'm so grateful to know you both. You are so generous with your minds and hearts. Is a great way to spend my time this morning. Thank you, love. We feel the same way. Same way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tori said, thanks, Sarah and Wolin and everyone else on here. I like collaborating with others. That's what I've loved about this, right? Is like people are in the chat saying, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Here's something I thought of. What about this? I love it.
Thank you, Gina.
Info. Thank you for the opportunity. Nice to meet you, Wolin. Thank you, Cece, for being on here. Thank you, guys. Excellent collaboration. That's from Eddie. Does anybody else have any questions? Like, this is your chance for direct one-on-one consulting for free right here. I don't want you to get off the call and be like, I wish I would have asked this. And again, you can ask it if you're like, hey, I want that one-on-one time with them with nobody else hearing my business stuff. We get that. That's why we offered the one-on-one get to know us call. So let us, if you feel more comfortable with that, we totally feel you. Reach out to us, schedule that. But I don't want anybody to get off feeling regret that they didn't ask something. So now is your time.
So I have a specific systems question.
Go for it.
And so, because this is not something that we talked about when we met, but do you guys recommend, like, for me, I don't like to have to choose programs and like web-based things, and like, you're talking about doing that audit. So will you tell me what I should be using and how much? You know what I mean? Like, I want to, because I know I need to do an audit of like all the things that I've signed up for and all of that, but like, I don't want to have to decide. I just want you to tell me what to use. Will you do that?
Can I answer that, Sarah, for her?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I got her. It has to be tailored to what your activities are. So when you're doing, whenever when someone says that they have this system, I go, oh, okay, wow, what does this do? I go and put it on, and it stays on my computer, etc. Then I thought to myself, hold up, here are my activities for my business. These are the things I do. Because before you can automate anything, you have to know what you're doing, right? Mm. So you come you know A to Z. So you map your actions, and then you look at your actions to see, what do I have to do to make this go away? Because this takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you put your time to it, right? You put your time to it, and when you map it, and then you see what's out there that can be used to do exactly what you're doing, or multiple things. Then you can now look at your systems, your automation processes, all these different things you have, and look at it and say, nah, I don't need this. I don't need this other one. I need this. But the key thing is, the key activity that you have to do is you have to write down every single thing that you do within that business or within that particular process tree. Like, multiple people have, so yours is branding, photos, storytelling, strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's in the photos process, You've got your photo process and all the different things that you do, right? And then you look at the systems that support that and ways that you could automate it. So you would have to do some work to write down what you do, and then we come and say, hey, you know what does that do? No, so it's back on you.
So let me put it in the context though, right? Because as I'm growing, which is and as I am scaling, I need to adapt and add different systems, right? And add on different automation processes. Like, it took me over a year to decide on a CRM. I am not one to, like, you don't want to trust me to make these decisions. Like, you're going to ask me, you know what I mean?
Can I answer
automating.
From my experience with Whirlwind? Because I know what I feel like I know what you're asking. So that's me too, Jenny. And by the time Whirlwind came in, I was like, I cannot do anymore. I can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
And Whirlwind sat next to me, like literally he said, can I please have your computer? And I was like, sure. And he took my computer, he created the most amazing, I don't even know how, like, he did it, Excel document for my business that has everything for my therapist in one place. He put in all these formulas, and what would have taken me weeks took him 2 times of us meeting. And he was like, here. And it has saved, like, I used to spend hours each week doing that in my first, like, in the counseling center. And now it literally takes me 30 minutes. And he sat there and created the system for me.
And when
you're going to be like a drop off spot for all of us to leave your computers to, like, make this.
If you work with us, that's kind of the hand holding that you get. We are an all service agency. We will hold your hand.
But it's
Whirlwind, I'm coming over right now.
Hey, let's do it, girl. Let's do it. But no, you see, people think when they hear automation and processes, you got to demystify it, and it's as simple as, what is it that I'm doing, and how can I put it in order, and how can I put it in batches so that I can do a batch at a time without me touching it. And it's that simple. But people come and, oh, I'll come in there and do your system and automation, and they will sell you, consultants sell you things that sometimes you don't even need. Right. And that's why you have to know what you are doing for you to see the value, to save you time, and then spend time on your business rather than in the business.
Yeah. And that's where, I mean, because I know where my strengths are, right? Like, and it's that, you know, I don't, and it comes down to, I don't want to. I want to teach you how to use your social media. I want to teach you how to tell your stories and create your content. And I want to take your damn picture. I don't want to do anything else. So.
But don't offer those services.
That's true.
Right. But it's all that office stuff. It's all that back office stuff from the business, right? That I have to be like, I have to kind of know. So that's where I'm saying, like, if you can say, like, because that's part of the problem, right? You have the copywriter that's coming to you and saying, oh, you can just use MailChimp and do this and do that. And then you have the MailChimp, and then you have your CRM that also has an email feature. And then you have your accounting software, and then you have this one. And it just ends up being like a hot mess. So maybe I need to schedule another call.
Sarah has a lot of money. Sarah has a lot of money spent on automation tools. We're sitting there. She says, I got that. I'm like, whoa, girl, you got all of that? Do you use it? She tells me, no, well, we're not. And then she starts to X them. I don't need this one. And it's just like your phone, right? Most used app. When you look at it and you look at your most used app and your least used, you don't use it. So you don't need it, right? It's as simple. You don't need it, so delete that. So which one of these apps have you been, or these systems have you put in place that you haven't touched in a while, and your business still runs properly, versus you haven't touched it, but you are still having problems? It means that you need to touch it to make your business run properly, right? But if your business is running properly and the systems are going, and you had another system in there, you're getting weighty. Whereas you need to run a lean business, right? So you remove that piece from in there, and again, it's you writing those things down. Writing those things down. You know, most people don't want to sit and write it down, right?
Because we're too
And
busy in it going. And that was my
correct.
experience, is I was too busy in survival of like in the grind of go, 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 that I wasn't looking at that. And honestly, when Wolwin came in, I couldn't have seen it. He saw things that I didn't see because I was too close to it. I was too exhausted. I was burnt out, and I couldn't
Correct.
see all that stuff. And so I know at the beginning he was answering it of like, it's easy. You just put in a system. And I was like, you're so full of it. It's easy for you, Wolwin.
That's
I've
true.
had those
That's,
conversations with both of you, so I know. Yes, I
Yes,
know. I'm
that's
like,
true.
really?
is wired
Because
that
he'll sit
way.
there, he'll sit there,
But
Jenny, 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 and you're like, I hear you,
and
but please make it
it's
easier for me.
And so
and
that's
it's
why
like
it's
every
important to have those people that you're working with, is because he came in and in
Yeah.
2 times of sitting and talking with me, and he took my computer and went blah, 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 all the formulas and all the fanciness, and went, here you go. I couldn't have done it because I couldn't see that. My brain is not wired that way, so I could not do that, which is why when we as entrepreneurs try to sit here and do everything on our own, that is the number one thing that is hurting us the most.
Right.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. You
Thank
know,
you
and
for.
and you know, I'm looking at, yeah, you're saying Walwin, but I'm pretty sure Mike Manning has his core competence. He can come and look at something and just see the issues and just boom. It's all of us operating in our zone of genius,
Yeah.
right? Is where we're saying to ourselves, it comes so easy for us that there's the problem. You're like, where? That, oh my goodness. So and all of us operate in that, right? It's all the coaches, the financiers, the service providers, all of us operate in that. And that's why, as Sarah said, we get someone else to look, and I need to get someone else to look at mine. You'll be surprised. There's a consultant there. There's a consultant consulting me.
Yep.
There's a basketball coach consultant coaching LeBron James, right, on certain things. So why do we feel that we're so big that we don't need someone to help us? We all need help.
Right. Absolutely.
Gina says, I love
Thank you.
automation. Literally, I personalize products, and when I do it in bulk, I literally have a script that runs and take me hours individually and reduces it to literally a minute. Yes, systems.
Yes.
No. So here, let me just say this too. When Wolwin came in, we hunkered down for 6 months. That 6 months of because I don't like systems. I don't like doing it. I love them once they're done. I don't like putting in the effort to do it.
Correct.
But I hunkered down for those 6 months. Putting in that 6 months of effort has made my life so much easier from here on out, and is making me more money in my businesses. And so get into the mindset. It's like raising kids, right? How many parents do we have on the line? Like, if we let our kids have their tantrums and just gave them the freaking candy bar to shut them up, we're making our lives so much harder in the long run, rather than just sitting there being okay with their kicking and screaming tantrum in the middle of Target and sucking it up for those 10 minutes of that hard, difficult time, like being in discomfort and learning to be okay in that discomfort, so that they don't have tantrums for the next 18 years of their lives because we continue to enable that behavior. So
wow.
Train your business, discipline your business, just like you would discipline your kids, so that you're making your life easier. You can have a bigger impact. You can make more money in the long run. Don't just be short-sighted. Be like, okay, I can do this hard thing for 6 months so that I can reap the benefits for years to come. Make sense?
So Mike has a question on there. What systems or apps do you suggest or recommend for scheduling your day and staying on task? So for me, I keep it simple, Mike. I keep it so simple because when we try to, simplicity does it for me. It's my calendar. It's my calendar, my Google Calendar that has everything that I'm supposed to do. And I have those alarms going up when it's done. To the point that years ago, ladies, don't laugh in this place, please. It's for only Mike and I and Bob. I would put in my calendar, call Verlin, my wife. Call her. I'm telling you, Christine, don't laugh because no, I'm serious, because you get caught up in doing the work, and then the important things go to the side, right? I know you're laughing. You say, "Oh my God, I can see your mouth going." But I had called Verlin at 3 times. It was morning, noon, and before I left work. And I would go, "Oh, gotta call her. Hey, honey, how are you?" So, and it kept, guess what? It kept business continuing. Business continued well in my relationship. So, Mike, as you are thinking on these two things always start a revolution in your life. A pen or pencil and a paper. This is where it starts from, when you write down those things that you're doing. And I do this exercise. You got to look at your time wasters, right? You write, just monitor your day. And this is so awkward. I hate it, but I love it after I do it. Today, I've been sitting here from 9:30, because we got on 9:30 to do preliminaries. From 9:30 to X, I did this. When I leave here and go downstairs, I put the time I leave here and go downstairs. The Facebook, so before I really, 3 years before I started the business, when I looked at my time wasters, it was Facebook, 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 and word with friends, word with friends, word with friends. And I was like, what in the world am I doing? Word with friends for 2-3 hours? Netflix? Are you kidding me? So once you put those things down and you write it down, Mike, and then you put it you put what you need to do in my Google Calendar, and it's coming right on my phone. It pops up, hey, time to do this, time to do that, and I'm on point. And it's not to be a robot, a droid to say, oh, I'm doing this. Sometimes I make mistakes on it, and it's okay to make mistakes.
So another tip, so I was speaking at a Rodan and Fields event, and the speaker before me, she was doing that, and she had an app that literally, boom, this time do this, boom, this time do this. And when she did it, because she likes her little to-do list with her little check, and it was an app on her phone, and when she would do it, she would push the little, and she would get her little check, and that's the positive reinforcement, right? Like in apps where the money rains down when somebody pays us, like that's the best feeling ever. It goes cha-ching, and money starts raining down on our phone. And so that's what she used. So I was like, oh, let me see this app. I looked at the app and I was like, oh my gosh, this is way too overwhelming for me. And so to say, use this app, there's so many out there on, like if you just did task managers in the app store, so many pop up, that it's important to find one that works for you. As far as like business and blocking and batching, what I learned from the High Performance Academy, Brendan Burchard, is that if you say how much of my time is paid, if I'm working on things that are going to produce me money, that needs to be at least 60% of the time. So when I would block my time out, I would say, okay, I have 15 hours in a week to focus on my business. So if I want to be producing income, then 60% of that 15 hours needs to be on money producing activities. And if I didn't have my schedule aligned with that, that's how I knew I am not in command of my time. If I'm spending 80% of my time answering emails that aren't going anywhere, or not having the phone calls, or not out there networking, that's when I knew, well, no wonder I'm not making any money, because I'm not in command of my time. So sit down and say, if I'm working X amount of hours, what is 60% of that? And then make sure that you're blocking that in your calendar of, this is where I'm going to make client calls. This is when I'm going to do follow-ups. This is when I'm prospecting, like Sarah Powell in real estate, lead gen, Christine, insurance, lead gen. Like, where are your lead gen hours? And if your time is off, then that's how you know you're not going to produce that income. So
I think, no, I'm sorry. So in addition to that, when you are, just when I was doing this for quite a while, and then I did a lot of rebranding, back office rebranding, meaning my systems, my processes, and this is what happened with the business, right? It did from this, it did that, and it wasn't anything grandiose. It was simply putting in the ground, staking in the ground. Monday and Friday, I'm doing nothing for clients, absolutely nothing for clients. Mondays and Fridays, I am working on the business, period. I'm not, so if you look at my Calendly, there's another tool I use, Mike. So, it just brings in my appointments, etc., directly to my email, to my Gmail calendar. I put only Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for business, and it's from 10 to 2 o'clock. And I run on that block from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 to 2. That's it. Because I did my activities and saw that, okay, Monday and Friday I can take off. For you, it could be only Monday I can take off, or Friday I can take off to work on the business. So it was similar to Anastasia, right? You were talking about, oh, I'm doing all of these things. People are out in the streets, people are outgoing, and I'm here working. Block off that time for you to be effective. It does work, team. It does work.
And I guess that's where I struggle sometimes is I get all these events scheduled and these networking events and meetings, this, that, and the other, that I forget to put in there time to write new programs and presentations to go make the money.
Yep.
And I'm a squirrel guy, so it takes me about a half a second to go, ooh, that'd be cool to do for the next couple hours, and just
aren't we all?
And I know I'm the only one on here that has that problem.
Well, and that was going to be my question as I was listening, because I was like, because how much, you can block to a certain degree, but how much, like, do you consider writing new content and creating new things as part of your KPIs, or is that assigned differently? Is that like,
well,
because I literally have a hamster wheel brain, that, because we'll sit there talking, I'll be like, let's do this, let's do that. And she'll be like, but why?
Yes.
Why do we do this, Jenny?
Correct.
What is it going to bring us, and what is different now? And I'm like, because I think it's a great idea.
I remember, Mike, you said that, and all of us are. I remembered last year, 2019, my entire calendar, if you looked at it, I was back to back to back to back to back to back. And I'll get home, next day, back to back. When 2020 came in, I reviewed 2019. Do you know that all these networking things so for my business, it could be different from for yours. All the things I went to, my business was word of mouth, period. Not a single event I went, I know 1 or 2 events I went to, I got clients, but every other one of them were cards, giving cards. And if you really pay attention to your business and see, where do I get my clients? That's where you spend that time. So nowadays, I look at my time and I say, hold on. I cannot get, when I go to X, Y, or Z, nothing occurs. So I'm being selfish with my time, because that's what you have to do. You have to be selfish with your time.
Being a boss of your time, not selfish. You're being a boss of your time. Yes.
Yeah, true. Okay, you know what? There she goes again. I'm a boss. I've been a boss of my time.
It's about the mindset.
No, but you're right. You're right. I've been a boss of my time, and I say no to things. I say no. I'm not going to go there. I love them. I really want to see them, but sometimes, you know what? I just want to go there to hang out. So I'm going to go and hang out with them today.
Yep.
Right. So it's a balance. It's a balancing act.
And are you showing up to these events from a place of fear and scarcity of, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, I'm not going to make any money. Oh my gosh, if I don't get here, I'm not going to make any clients, right? Good. Awesome. Because if you're attending events with that as your underlying talk, the voice, then it's not going to manifest into what it is that you want it to be anyways, because you're coming in with that energy that pushes people away.
When I go to these networking events, I'm there to help and just gather stories.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. There you go. Like the HSSB, and I go there my ammo for going there is just to be in great company. I'm just going to go and hang out. I'm going to hang out to be in great company. I'm not expecting, I'm not running for business. I'm going there for business. I'm just going to hear, as you said, Mike. And I have a rule when I go, I don't want to meet everybody. I want to meet 2 or 3, and I want to go deep. I don't want to go broad. I dislike broad. I want to go deep to get to know that person, because relationships run this place.
Yep.
It's
Not the
about
amount
playing
of
the
people I
long
know.
game. You're playing the long game. You're building relationships.
And we've got a client, and I told him that for the next month and a half, all the networking events he goes to, he takes 3 business cards and he hands them out to the 3 people he wants to meet. And if anybody he doesn't really want to meet or swap cards with, and you just play the old, oh, can you believe a networker forgot to bring business cards? Slough it off, they'll believe it, but just hand out your 3 cards to the 3 people you want to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because otherwise, people, when they first start networking, we've all seen this, they're like, hey, I got 32 cards. What'd you get out of it? But I got 32 cards.
No,
Yeah,
it drives me nuts.
So, yeah. But yeah, so he's having some success with his 3-card party. So,
Wow.
but stay in, it's, do you want it, you want to be 100 yards wide and a foot deep, or a foot wide and a mile deep? And I'm with you, Wolwin. Give me a foot wide and a mile deep.
Yeah.
Correct. So true. So true.
Alrighty, I'm checking the chat. I don't see any other questions right now. Everybody's just saying like, yes.
I gotta hop off, but I just want to say I appreciate you both tremendously. I mean, y'all know that. I may schedule another call just so I can spend more time with you.
Sounds good.
Hey, let's do it.
I miss my people.
Yes.
My extrovert heart is dying slowly inside.
Yes, Cece.
Where's the link again for the call? What's your calendar?
Can you post that again one more time, please? He's going to screen share with you. Oh, you know what?
Calendly.com/Sarah-Wolwin.
I was like, I can put it in let me type it in the chat too.
Yeah, type it in chat so I can copy and paste it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Hey, Jenny.
Yes, Mike.
If you really, really want to practice social distancing, but get your fixes, just drive over to Sarah's house and you sit on the sidewalk by the street and she sits on the front porch and you guys have a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So with Wake County has come out with some guidance for photographers who are asking, that are saying like, we can count in the deliverable category. Like we can deliver to people's homes as long as we maintain physical distance. Some of the other things that they're saying is like bananas. Like one of the photographers I talked to and I saw in a group was like, yeah, they said I could leave my equipment and leave instructions on how to use it. What? That is bananas. But yeah, so because we can be in the deliverables, right? I'm able to actually go finish work with some clients, and I'm literally giddy with excitement. So excited that I get to go take pictures of like vinyl custom swag in somebody's backyard that's not my own.
And the advice of leaving your equipment there usually comes from people who have never run a business.
Oh my God, I was literally floored.
Yeah.
I know, leave it on the porch, like leave instructions on how to use it. And I don't know, I'm sure Trisha would have a comment about insurance liability with that one. But yes, thank you both. Thanks everybody for your great break.
Hey, Wolwin, CC saying the link didn't work. How is that possible?
It could be me. My technology sometimes is crazy, but I cut and pasted it and I clicked on it. I was just wondering if something.
Worst case scenario, go to, because I
know.
know.
No, it's not working.
Okay, so it's not me, not just me.
So are you guys making enough money, Sarah? It doesn't work? What's going on there?
Sarah Madras.
Hang on one second. I'm going to put our bit.ly and then you can definitely use that one. And look at him throwing me under the bus. Sarah Madras, why isn't this working?
No. It's not putting you under the bus, dear.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay. Well, while you're figuring this out, I do also want to say, with what Mike and Bolwin are saying, like, that's part of the reason, one of the reasons that I love being on Deb Mathias's board of directors for LinkedIn Local, because we see the list, like, at the registration table, and then I know exactly who I want to talk to. And I don't have to mess around and, like, worry about making sure I have enough cards or getting enough introductions. I'm just very focused, and if it's somebody that I don't want to meet and they want to talk to me anyway, I usually am very, I'm kind anyway, but.
It's right there, Cece. There's both of them. There's one directly from the website, which I know works because I've tested that boy like 50 times.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, perfect.
So you see, Tori, you see your girl, Tori is really on your side.
Yeah.
She is really on your side, Sarah. I mean, I can see where the line divides here.
Oh, because it's
No,
not
you're
Sarah
right.
Wolin.
It was, we switched it. We switched it after it did not do this. So it is.
Okay. I think we're good.
Well, it works now. Thanks, y'all. All right. Everybody have a great day. Talk to you
You
soon.
too.
Bye.
Definitely.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Sarah. Thanks, Wolin. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Have a
are
great
welcome.
Bye, guys.
day.
Thank
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you ever so much.
Bye, Dina. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Anybody else with any questions?
Well, now that the fun group is here, we can
Right.
start the meeting officially. Yeah.
I'm like, Sarah Powell, do you have any questions for us? I was like, Eddie, how have you not asked any questions?
He did.
I did have some earlier, and then I totally just got like sidetracked with some other stuff for a good bit. So, kind of back from outer space right now. But yeah, I mean, I have tons of questions for you guys. I definitely want to work with Will with getting some systems in place. I need that, maybe some accountability.
Did you ever hear back from Wake Tech?
I did. Well, I did. Yeah, and I filled out like their whole acceptance thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Some other stuff that they needed. But so then still need to set up, like, so the requirement is to set up with the Small Business Counseling Center, and then I'll meet with them like once a month through the end of the year.
That's awesome. For you guys on the line, Eddie received grant money, a bunch of so Wake Tech is one of the main sponsors for launch programs throughout Wake County. And they were offering scholarship or grant money for people in launch. And so a bunch of launch people applied, and Tori on the line got scholarship or grant money. Eddie got grant money. I should ask Christine, but it was amazing. Wake Tech really stepped up and helped a lot of small businesses.
That's excellent. That's excellent. That's excellent.
So, Sarah Powell, any questions for us, hon?
Not significantly different than anyone else. I think like Mike, I like to chase squirrels. So like staying on task, and I'm used to leaving the house. My day, and I don't do anything at home because I'm never here.
Right.
It's just really hard when you're in this house all the time by yourself. It's like, oh, what day is it? What time is it? I don't even know what to do.
Totally.
Wow.
I was having this conversation with one of the therapists on my team, and she's really struggling with it. And I said, because for her, the drive to the office, because she lives in Willow Springs, so the drive to the office for her was like this transition place, right? Where she was like, I'm going into the office, I'm transitioning into this mindset. And then when she would drive home, that was her decompression, I'm transitioning into this mindset. And so I was like, how can you set that up in your house, right? Like that transition tunnel, right? And so instead of she just like, works wherever, I was like, what about if the hallway, like you create a room in your house, that's your office. And you set it up the way that you have because she takes pride in how she set up the office at our brick and mortar. I said, take pride in how you're setting that up so that you have that same pride and that same feeling when you walk into that office, your home office. And whether you take a walk around the house, a couple laps around the house, and then go in the hallway as your transition, your drive time, so that you transition of now I'm going into work. and you
Wow.
know, you have it scheduled that way. So maybe setting up things like that of like, where is my designated office? And this is my transition of I'm going to work. You know what I mean? What about maybe trying something like that?
That's a good idea.
Okay. Well, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I mean, so what I do is, so strangely, this is where I work from, right? So when this occurred, I'm like, yay, I get to keep the office, and Verlin is downstairs in the dining room with the computer screens. I'm like, okay, but because everybody's home now, it's changing my behavior. So what I'm doing now, when I get up, I brush and I go outside and do a quick walk, because that for me is me leaving and going. I'm walking, like Sarah said. Strangely, I do that. You create that drive time per se when I'm going to clients. I walk up the street, get some sun quickly, and then I come and I'm like, yes, I'm pumped. I'm ready to work. And I come in here and I do what I need to do. But I tell you, as we're saying, you know, work, but play.
Yep.
Play. You have to play. And Eddie, you were laughing, saying, "Oh, I don't know when I get back if I'll know how to work." Dude, that's play is so important for us that you'll be surprised that when you do go back to work, you will be rejuvenated. You will be ready. You're ready. Your mind will be on you know, pumping on all cylinders. So sometimes I think, Sarah, I saw you the other day where you're like, man, I don't even want to work today. I am playing. I am having fun, period. So to have a good balance, in it. And this too will pass. It will pass. And as I said earlier, I know that there will be such an influx of a demand, a high demand, that we will be going, hold up, and you will only be taking your customers that you knew from the past first. They will have first dibs, right? So this too shall pass.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I do already have everybody kind of fighting over who's like first on the table when we open back up. You know, so I'm like, I mean, how do we go about doing that? I was like, hey, maybe I'll even open up like a little earlier and be like, okay, who's the highest bidder?
Yep.
For this spot.
No lie, I would pay extra to get in there first. Like my massage therapist, because I see her monthly and we've obviously had to cancel. The moment she tells me she's open, I would pay her extra money to be in that freaking door.
Although I will say, like, I mean, Diane came on, actually like hooked me up with a bunch of stuff, and she has been a great friend for a long time. And so she's like, well, I think I just gave you all that stuff. I think I'm already the highest bidder. So.
Yes,
there you go. There you go. That's true. That's true.
So true. So true.
Mm.
Cool. All righty. I think we're good.
I know.